Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Podcast. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating topic: cultural differences in greetings. Greetings are a simple way of showing respect and friendliness, but the way we greet each other can vary a lot depending on where we are in the world. Today, we're going to break down some of the most interesting greetings from different cultures and how these gestures reflect values and traditions. I'm here with Leo. Hi there.
Hi, I'm really looking forward to exploring this topic. Greetings can tell us so much about a culture, how people think about respect, personal space, and friendliness. So, let's get into it.
Let's start with a very common greeting, the handshake. Now, handshakes are used in many countries, especially in Western cultures, but the way people shake hands can be very different. For example, in the United States or Germany, a firm handshake is preferred because it shows confidence and professionalism. In a business setting, a weak handshake might even be seen as a sign of insecurity.
Right. But if we look at countries like Japan, a softer handshake is more respectful. Also, in Japan, people sometimes avoid prolonged eye contact during a handshake because it could feel intrusive or overly assertive. It's a way of showing modesty and humility. So it's not just about how you shake hands, but also your body language. It all adds up.
That's so true. Now, moving on to countries like Thailand, where they have a unique greeting called the Y. In Thailand, people greet each other by pressing their palms together, like in a praying gesture, and slightly bowing their heads. This gesture isn't just a greeting, it's a way of showing respect. The lower you bow, the more respect you show. So if you're greeting an elder or someone of high status, you'd give a deeper bow.
Yes, and that's similar to Namaste in India. It's both a greeting and a way of showing respect. By pressing your hands together and bowing slightly, you're saying, "I bow to the divine in you." It's often used in more formal or respectful situations, like when greeting elders or teachers.
Exactly. Now, in China, people sometimes greet each other with a slight bow as well, but it's usually a bit subtler. Chinese culture values modesty, so a small nod of the head is enough in most cases. Even when people shake hands, it's typically gentler compared to Western handshakes.
And if we look at European countries, there's another unique greeting style: cheek kissing. In places like France and Italy, people greet friends or family with a light kiss on both cheeks. In France, for example, it's often called la bise. And in some regions, people even kiss 3 times. This type of greeting is more intimate, so you'll usually only see it between people who know each other well.
Yes, but in other parts of the world like the UK or the US, people usually prefer a handshake or even a simple hello with a wave. Personal space is really important in these cultures, so cheek kissing or hugging someone you've just met might feel uncomfortable.
That's true. And speaking of closeness, in some Middle Eastern cultures, greetings can involve a handshake followed by a hug, especially if you're greeting someone you know well. After the handshake, people might even place a hand on their heart to show sincerity. This gesture shows warmth and respect, and it's a way of connecting on a deeper level.
Yes, and it's similar in some parts of Latin America. In countries like Mexico and Argentina, greetings are more physical and involve closer contact. A quick hug or even a kiss on the cheek can be very common when greeting friends or family. It's seen as a way of showing affection and closeness.
And then there's the bow in East Asia. In Japan and South Korea, people bow to greet each other, but the depth and length of the bow can mean different things. For instance, a quick bow might be fine between friends, but when greeting elders, you'd use a deeper bow to show respect.
That's a great example. And here's one more unique greeting I find fascinating: the Hongi in New Zealand. This is a Maori greeting where 2 people press their noses and foreheads together. It's called sharing breath and is considered a very sacred and respectful way of connecting. It shows unity and trust.
Wow, these greetings are so varied, and they're all about showing respect and understanding cultural values. Another interesting example is how people in Russia greet each other. In more formal settings, Russians might give a firm handshake, but they also add direct eye contact and even a slight nod.
Exactly. And in some places, people greet each other by asking a question like, have you eaten? In cultures like China or some parts of Southeast Asia, this question is actually a way of showing concern and care.
That's fascinating. And greetings don't just vary by culture, they also change based on the relationship between people. In Spain, people might kiss on both cheeks when meeting friends or family, but in a professional setting, they'll often stick to a handshake.
Yes, the level of formality often changes how people greet each other. For example, in places like Japan and South Korea, younger people might bow casually, but with elders, they'll bow much lower. It's a way to show hierarchy and respect for age.
That was a lot of information. Let's go over some key vocabulary from today's episode. Handshake, a common greeting where people shake hands, usually to show friendliness or agreement.
Personal space, the physical space people prefer to keep around them.
Body language, nonverbal communication through gestures, posture, and movement.
Modesty, being humble, not showing off.
Hierarchy, the social or organizational ranking of people.
Affection, a gentle feeling of love or caring. Thanks for exploring these unique greetings with us. Next time you're traveling, you'll have a better idea of how to greet people in a way that respects their culture and traditions.
Yes, and understanding these differences can help create cross-cultural connections and show that we respect each other's traditions. Thank you for tuning in to Learn English with Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for our next episode.
See you next time, everyone.